Welcome once again, everyone, to another episode of Horror Corner. Hi there, everybody. My name is JPOOL, and once again, let me welcome back my co-host LC.
Yo, how's it going?
Fine, fine. It looks like we're in another film about crazy cults.
Yeah, but a,
Yeah,
a very different take on a crazy cult film
yeah. Last one was werewolves. This one is just demons.
and magic.
Demons and magic.
Magic.
Magic Castle. Have you ever been to the
The
Magic Castle before? Before?
I haven't. I thought you couldn't actually go to it. I thought it was restricted, like it was members only or
Yeah,
something.
I think it's an invite, but I think they have like special events like for the public. But there's certain areas I think of it you can't enter
Yeah.
because of the secrets.
Magic. I'm gonna go. It's my new mission.
It's your new mission to
Wait for it.
discover
Yeah.
how the magic is
hmm
done. Did you ever
Yeah.
did you ever see that masked magician that spills all the secrets?
No, I don't think I want to. It would ruin it for me. I still like to believe that David Blaine is the devil. So every time he does that trick where he like levitates off the ground, I want to know how he does it, but I don't want to know how he does it.
What about Mind Freak?
Yeah. Well, and that's this movie touches on it a bit and we'll get into it, right? But I think to me there's magic, right?
Yeah.
So I took my son one time, we went to Vegas, we saw David Copperfield, and that's magic. That's the glorious illusion, right? But then there's the like Houdini-esque David Blaine, even I think maybe Chris Angel a little bit, that like lock me in a box underwater situation, escape it. What is that? That's to me that's just insane.
Or hover over the Luxor and there's no helicopter or crane in sight, and you're like, how in the world is he doing that?
And then you have like the people that actually there was a Netflix documentary, I think it was on Netflix. It came out recently with the guy who free scales the building, which is not magic at all, but maybe more scary. So, it's yeah.
Especially when
This
he's
this
resting his hands and he leans back, and you're like, oh my, he's not holding on to anything now.
don't do it. Yeah, yeah. We've got magic with a side of Scott Bakula shirtless.
Yes, he's quite shirtless a lot in this movie, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I think that
Yes.
was part of the script, part of the role. They when they originally interviewed people and were doing the casting, they were like, "You're gonna have to take your shirt off." And for once, it was a guy.
Exactly, yes. But they find somebody very, very attractive. Now, I remember discovering Scott Bakula in a television show called Quantum Leap.
The best. So good.
Yes, I have all the seasons on DVD. It's a really
Was
good show.
was Quantum Leap? I feel like at one point it was part of that Magic Thursday night. Was it on NBC?
It's been so long. It might have been on
Uh,
NBC.
there was just this like moment in time where NBC on a Thursday night, it felt like it was everything. It had Friends and ER and um I want to say at one point Quantum Leap and X-Files was there for a minute, and then there was another show that at some point I will remember and scream into the camera. But it was kind of like a Twilight Zone slash X-Files kind of show. Something Luck, Dumb Luck or something. Oh, so good. I'm gonna rewatch all of that. Yeah, but Quantum Leap was real. That was a great show for people that haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So tonight's film, we're going to be going over and reviewing Clive Barker's classic, Lord of Illusions from 1995.
Yep.
So I was like 10 years old when this came out.
Yeah, I was. What was the year again?
1995.
1995. I was. What'd you say? You were 10?
Yeah, I was 10.
I was in my first year of high school.
Yeah, so it's a American neo-noir supernatural horror film that you had some interesting things to talk about or to say about Clive Barker films early on.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get hate. Now I have the social, so I shouldn't say
You
anything.
should say they'll find you, and they will comment.
I Okay, here's the thing. I So last week when we were talking about what we were going to review, I said I don't really like Clive Barker movies. I feel like there's way too much of the plot. The plot just feels sometimes unnecessary. Like the story's very heavy, and sometimes they feel like they're over dramatized.
Yeah,
There's
dramatization.
a word in there. Yeah, that. Sometimes it, it feels like there's a bit too much. Before You Come for Me, I love Candyman, but I do feel like this is where people are really going to get pissed. I do feel like the Jordan Peele remake, I liked better. And I feel like even though the actors in the original are phenomenal, it just feels like there's sometimes too much. And what I decided now, so this is where everybody can stop hating, after attempting to watch this movie multiple times over the span of the last week, and even having to punt our recording time because I couldn't get it together, I realized that maybe Clive Barker movies are just too smart for me. So there you go. Don't hate me. It's because I'm not smart enough to appreciate them. There's just a lot to them there, and not to say, I mean, I do love a good simplified horror flick, right? I love a good slasher or whatever, but I wouldn't say that The Shining or Jaws or some of these other epic horror movies that I love are dumbed down or simple by any means. They also have really strong plot lines, but for some reason Clive Barker's movies are really difficult for me. But what was great is I really didn't I remembered the first opening scene of this movie kind of. I didn't remember the rest of the movie. So I'm not even sure if I fully watched this movie before. It definitely felt like a new flick, which is always nice when you can discover something that you haven't seen before.
Or you are seeing it again after so many years, and you're just going, I just didn't remember those scenes, and it feels like new.
You calling me old?
No, I haven't seen sometimes some films. I haven't seen this film in over a decade. So
I definitely didn't I mean, I the beginning I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember this." And then I started feeling as though maybe I was remembering something else. I definitely had seen it. I had definitely seen the opening scene through the desert, but the rest of the movie, absolute blank. No recollection of it whatsoever. No, when you do that, when you've seen something so long ago, you can't really remember it. As the moments start to happen, you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen now. But nothing came to me. So the whole thing was, if I have seen it, it was like watching it again for the first time.
exactly. So this movie starts off in the Mojave Desert in 1982 with a cult ran by this man named William Nix, and they call him the Puritan. And he has real magic.
And some saucy followers.
And some saucy, crazy ass followers that have thrown their whole lives away and to follow him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I just
what?
can we talk about Butterfield's outfit in the opening scene? Can we talk about how short his shorts were and that he's wearing a crop top? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that was like, okay. That was a choice. That was
very tan choice.
That was a choice. I don't know if
Mhm.
that was the director's choice or if it was Barry Della Sherman's, the actor who plays Butterfield's choice, but that was a choice.
It's the Mojave. You said it's the Mojave Desert. It's hot, so I don't know. It's Phoenix. You don't see me running around like that, but
I mean, the crop top and the shorts were a choice. I mean, he could have,
it was.
he could have worn shirtless completely.
He makes a few choices in this movie, which became one of my favorite things to bear witness to throughout.
Yeah, so Nyx, he like I said, he wields real magic, and he even to impress his followers, he likes to play with fire, and you can control it, or and move it from hand to hand and everything. So his followers really trust him. They really believe in what he's doing, and he wants to. He has a young girl that he is
Hmm.
about to sacrifice.
Like kidnapped.
Yeah, and he kidnapped, and some of his former followers have realized the error of their ways and are trying to rescue this young girl, the young kidnapped girl.
I
Uh,
feel like I should point out that in my notes, which feel like a fever dream, it says kidnapped a little girl and also has a baboon. So,
yes, it has a baboon. You must have some type of like animal sidekick.
right. I
Yes.
mean, mm,
Kevin J. O'Connor, who plays this character named Philip Swan, he's basically um, Nyx's like number one disciple,
protege? Yeah.
protege, the one that Nyx wants to pass down his legacy to, and share his power with him. But Swan has other ideas. Swan has seen that everything that Nyx is doing is evil, like pure evil, including kidnapping this girl. So
Hmm.
he and the rest of his friends, show up to this building in the middle of the desert, uh, and basically um, try to find this girl and get in a big fight with Nyx. Nyx shows his powers and his abilities,
Yeah.
and
He does this very creepy thing where he sticks his fingers inside like the temple of Swan,
yeah,
like in
right
his
through.
head. Yeah, that was pretty well done, I thought.
Oh yeah, and also throws people around with his a power, sort of like telekinesis.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
Uh,
uses his like I like that where it's the illusion side of things. He uses his magic to distort the way that his followers see everyone else. So now all of a sudden they're, feeling like the good guys or zombies, or I don't know how you'd really describe them, but he distorts their features, and that was pretty cool too.
yeah, definitely. And Swan and his friends basically come in guns blazing. They're making sure that the rest of the followers that are still with Nyx, you know, are nowhere near him, and so basically, they're trying to find the girl as well. They end up finding her, and then getting into that whole fight with Nyx, and that's when we get the scene where Nyx puts his fingers through Swan's head, and when he does that, it basically distorts all of reality for Swan. So
Mhm.
even when his friends enter the room, he's seeing like their skin start to peel away, and there's these creatures that are very scary.
Mhm.
That usually would frighten most people, but Swan realizes that it's all an illusion. It's all in his
Right.
head. So he fights against it, and then we get a scene where the little girl uh, that's been kidnapped is gotten away and gotten unbound, and grabs the gun that Swan originally had and shoots Nyx right through the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good shot.
Good shot.
Hmm.
Make sure that basically unload on him, and then he's not going to die from this. Unfortunately, he's almost immortal.
Yeah.
But they have something to at least bind him. They have this really nasty mask, like something you would see out of like Hellraiser, basically.
Mm, well, hey,
Yes,
who you're dealing with.
to bind him is like it's several pieces actually. I think it's like was it 3 or 4 pieces, maybe more.
Hmm.
Um, that basically you have to assemble onto the person's face, and then use human blood to have the screws screw into the face and the head.
Naturally.
Yeah, pretty brutal. And apparently suppresses the power within the person.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't kill
like
them.
that whole, yeah, that idea is really cool because they're, in various different cultures of magic, there is these rituals of, binding or whatever of their like protection or to keep someone away from you. And I thought that that was, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm sure. It's always nice when you can tell that they've done the work, they've done the research, and they're finding ways to make what could be considered like a very crazy storyline for a lot of people. They're bringing a lot of detail that has a level of factual um, information in it. So yeah, I thought that was, and it was creepy too. It's like if you're claustrophobic, it's not how you're going to want to spend the next 20 years.
Exactly. And so we have was it Butterfield, like he's basically runs off after escaping from him being killed.
Can I read you my note here?
All right,
It
go.
says his creepy little sidekick Butterfield with super short shorts and a crop top and a ridiculously deep tan and one strange eyeball screams, I feel like he's going to be a problem.
Yes, well, he's going to come back eventually. That's the thing.
Right. It
So,
felt like he feels very, and maybe that's why the beginning felt so familiar. There's moments in this desert where Butterfield is definitely, aside from his, well, maybe his outfit too, he's giving Hills Have Eyes. So
he's giving like Igor vibes.
yeah, little henchman.
master.
Yeah.
So they end up basically burying Nix's body somewhere in the desert nearby, but in an unmarked grave. So it'll be harder to find him.
Farewell.
And that's the first scene. That's the opening scene to the film. So
A lot going on.
a lot going on. A lot of like trying to exposition on where we're going with it, the story. And then we go, let's see, 13 years later.
Yeah, cut to New York.
Cut to New York, and an occult specializing private detective named Constantine. I mean, Harry Diamore.
Mm. I wrote Scotty Bakula in my notes, so
He could have
Scotty
been.
Bakula.
He could have
the
been
private
Constantine. Like his character could be Constantine because he deals with occult stuff.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And you've got to go to New York for those kind of things. I mean, where else are you going to find that private investigator with all that lore?
Yeah, and you deal with a character. He's a detective that is like very haunted by his own demons, and also of recent exorcism case that's kind of messed him up. Like he is jumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to like wake him up out of the blue, otherwise he might shoot you.
Did I now that I'm glad that you brought that up, because it references it in the newspaper on the desk, and you can see that he's haunted by it. Did that come back up in the movie?
I believe that was more of a MacGuffin than anything.
Yeah, okay.
I
Like
think
that you used MacGuffin.
yeah.
Yeah.
For people that don't know what MacGuffins are basically plot lines that are presented usually at the beginning or the middle of a film or even a television show that seem important but never conclude, or
Mm-hmm.
they don't ever come back to it. It's just like it's there. This is
Mm-hmm.
it's like something that's important, but we're never going to talk about it again. And
Right.
it's more of like, I think it's sort of like builds up his character of like he is like a
Mm-hmm.
haunted person.
Yeah,
Um,
it gives him a bit of an origin story.
he doesn't particularly believe everything. He's seen stuff, like quote unquote supernatural stuff, but doesn't completely believe everything. Like it could be a supernatural case or it could be just some crazy person.
Yeah,
Whatever, whoever pays the bills.
exactly. And he's got an offer that can't be refused because, as in a lot of movies, you get to head out to sunny California.
Oh yes. And he basically has to follow somebody and ends up running into somebody filled with a lot of pointy objects and needles and knives and all different types of things. He was not expecting to deal with this situation at this time.
Yeah, that poor guy. I mean, both poor guys, because that dude in the chair, that looked like a bad night. But, up until that point, our private detective here just, I mean, he was like watching some pervert. His case was going to be pretty easy up until he, follows his perp, I guess, I don't know, into a tarot parlor,
Yeah,
tarot
basically,
card
it's like a
parlor.
fortune
Yeah,
teller tarot parlor. He
and
has
then finds that guy.
Yeah,
Wow,
and we find out the
rough
guy
night.
that's been like full of knives and needles is um, one of the guys that was originally trying to help save the young girl 13 years earlier in that cult, or Nix's cult, or the Puritans
Mhm.
cult. And we also get he runs into Butterfield.
Oh,
Uh,
he does leather
yeah,
pants.
yes. And another character, Ray Miller, a man possessing great strength, um, to the point where you're like, either this person's on some weird drugs or like he's just supernaturally strong.
Right. Is that the guy with the pointy teeth?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He,
Butterfield's new puppy.
he bites him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
It's like file
you're
teeth.
gonna need a rabies shot right after that. Like
Yeah.
seriously, get a rabies
From these
shot if you happen to got one already.
from these desert dwellers. Yeah. So they're like they're now they've kind of gone like punk a little bit. It feels very CDLA of the time for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, uh, Quaid is he's dying in the chair, um, and he decides to read Diamore's palm, and basically he says he has a destiny. He walks the line between heaven and hell, um, and he warns him that the Puritan is coming.
Yeah.
And I don't he doesn't he's never heard of the Puritan, but that the walk the line between heaven and hell, that still sounds like Constantine.
That's true. That's a good movie too. I haven't seen that in a long time.
There's gonna be a
I'm gonna check
sequel
that
to
out.
that actually.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
Keanu
All
Reeves is
right.
returning.
Oh, of course he is. Thank you for that. Thank you for when you have a great movie and you actually have the original actors coming back after
Exactly.
all this time.
So we cut to basically a Philip Swan once again,
Hmm.
and this is 13 years later. He is now a famous stage illusionist. Like everybody
Hmm.
knows who he is. He's made a franchise out of his illusions.
Yeah.
Um, and he lives in a mansion in Beverly Hills with his beautiful wife. Was it Dorothea?
Dorothea, yeah.
Dorothea, played by Famke Jensen.
She's beautiful.
I think this is right before she did Goldeneye.
Okay.
So,
95,
yeah, I think this is
probably.
right before she did Goldeneye, because she still looks young here. So,
Yeah.
and of course, she became famous after that for Jean Grey and X Men.
Hmm. Yeah, I like to, you mentioned Chris Angel, and there's a very much that feel of Swan's whole marketing campaign. It's in the background which is a nice little insert when Detective first gets into town. But it's that um, mind freak kind of. We've all seen those billboards back in the heyday of Chris Angel where he's, the lone guy, sort of arms outstretched or whatever, and definitely showing that Swan has hit the big time for sure. And he plays at the Pantages Theater, which I've actually been to.
Cool. Yeah,
Saw the Lion King there.
you saw the Lion King there. Nice.
Which
Any
was a much
magic? No
It
magic?
was a much more family focused event than what happens at the Pantages Theater when Swan plays.
Exactly. Especially with lots of swords.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very much unfortunate.
So basically, they're looking in the papers, and I think they even try to hide it from Philip about Quaid's death. Um, and you can see that it's being investigated by Harry D'Amour, which is actually just Harry of Love. That's it. That's
That's right there, a very Clive Barker thing to do.
yes, because Amour
If
means
you ask
love.
me.
So
Yeah, yeah. Deep plot lines.
speaking of love in here, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Uh, so um, so like I said, Philip believes that Quaid was killed by one of Nix's loyalists. Well, he's right. Um, and before he can leave Los Angeles, Demore is but hired by Dorothea. So they basically track him down. It's like, find this person. And so she basically tells the person that works for them, like, it just points at the person, find him. Like,
Hmm.
okay, you just. Luckily, his name's in the paper, but it's still, it's like they didn't have particularly really good internet back in the day. They used to have
In 95.
they had semi good. I mean, I had internet back then, but mine was like, like mine was like 256K modems.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty bad. I remember
yeah,
building a website and in about 95 and it wasn't great at all.
remember Windows 95?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I grew up in Seattle, man, land of the Microsoft. That was everything. I had Windows 95. I want to say long into the 2000s, which is sad.
you didn't switch over to 98
No, not for I was no,
or
I'm
or
struggling.
or Millennium Edition, which was really bad, but still.
Was that X and they were like just forget that happened.
No, no, it was Millennium Edition, and then XP came after that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we all forgot the millennium. We chose to. Part
exactly.
of the Y2K.
It never happened. So yeah, he's tracked down and hired by Dorothea
Dorothea.
because she realizes that her husband is sort of in distress.
Hmm.
Seems very worried about what's going on, and Diamore agrees to investigate Quaid's killers because they might be targeting Philip. And Dorothea decides to invite him to his next magic show. Now, this is not like your typical, like, well, everybody goes casually to this magic show. This is like
Yeah.
the cream of the crop type of people. People in tuxedos and dresses and everything.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
this is high class magic. High class.
Night at the theater.
Night
Yeah.
at the theater.
High class magic.
Yes. For rich people.
Hmm. Yeah. Magic for rich people.
Yeah, even Harry in here is basically, tells Dorothea, like, I got to return this, tux later because he's just renting it. He can't afford this type of, tux.
Hmm.
Um, even if he gets paid for this job. So basically, we get introduced to Philip on the stage, and he is doing this very dangerous magic trick, where he's sort of on sort of a what was it?
Like
It's
a
a
wheel.
spinning wheel,
Hmm.
and he's locked down all his limbs and
Mhm.
everything. And above him is like a chandelier of swords.
Yes. I have one of those.
You have one of those right above
I
you,
do.
right
Do not.
now. Have you ever played the game where there's like all these like I'm not what were these they're not sticks, but anyway they drop. They like randomly drop, and you have to grab them, and you have to grab them. You know, you don't know when. It's sort of like to your reaction, your timing, your reaction.
Hand-eye
Yeah, hand-eye
coordination or yeah.
coordination, and you know, make sure because they fall also on the side as well. So you have to,
Hmm.
you can't just they're not just right in front of you. Well, in here the
I
swords
haven't. Oh,
will fall
cool.
randomly, but they're supposed to fall in
Hmm.
a certain timing where the magician kind of knows when they're going to hit, and he has to get out of the way. So he's spinning as well, and the swords are supposed to drop, and he gets out of the way of a couple of them, and then something goes wrong,
Terribly wrong.
terribly wrong, because one ends up skewering his what was it, his shoulder, I think it was, and then his
Yeah.
legs,
Leg.
and then just like all hell breaks loose, and it ends up skewering him through the chest and basically killing him
Yeah. In
in,
front of
in
everybody.
front of everybody. They're like, this is not part of the trick, you know.
Yeah. Cover your children's eyes. People run from the theater.
Yeah, I mean that would be frightening to see somebody get killed in a magic trick. I mean it has happened before. Magic tricks are it's basically choreography. It's like
Mm.
they have to do certain things at a certain timing, especially if it's a dangerous one. If they
It's
don't
like
do it
yeah.
correctly, it could kill them, or they could kill their
it's
assistant.
it's like choreography, except you die.
Except you die. So you
Just not, yeah. I don't know if you're doing like the double Dutch bus craze out there, but the, that's the kind of choreography that I'm going to choose to fail at, not the escapologist choreography where a sword goes right into my stomach. That's that's where I play. I play in the safe TikTok land of choreography.
exactly. So Harry basically runs up on stage to see what went wrong, and then he decides to drop down in a hole right below where they have like the control of everything, how the wheel turns and everything, and he runs into Butterfield and Miller again, and they end up attacking him. Yeah, they hit him really hard. They break his nose. That's
Yeah, I didn't clock what Butterfield was wearing in this scene, and I'm sad about it.
but yeah, it's Miller ends up getting killed.
By a sand elephant?
Yeah, something to that effect. It just goes skewers right through him, and then just
Hmm.
sand, like red sand, ends up pouring right out the other side.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's unfortunate.
that'd be really difficult to explain to the police. It'd be like
Right.
already, like at the beginning of the film, like he is already like he's there at a murder, and like the police are like, oh well, you're a private detective. They're like, we'll let you go. It's like I think there's going to be a
Right.
little more investigation than that.
It's LA.
It's LA. These things happen all the time. Just
LA.
like
You know how the LAPD is.
yeah, just like New York. It just happens all the time.
Mm. Sand elephants skewering people. It's not a big deal.
So Butterfield ends up escaping, and the next day Harry ends up going to the Magic Castle.
Infamous Magic
Yeah,
Castle.
because he has a lot of questions. Now that Philip has died, who will take his place?
Right.
Because he had so much fame and money and everything. Uh, the next magician or magicians, will want to take his place, and it will be their time now.
Yeah, step into that role.
Step into that role, and so basically he is talking to a group of the magicians. He's invited to a special circle, a special like meeting, which is interesting because he's not a magician himself.
Right.
Like
How
that's
did
like
that happen?
that. Well, I mean, he has
How did he
connections.
get the golden ticket?
He has connections. They're not too fond of him though. They're really like you talk with him and you're out. Basically, you're blacklisted from the magic circle. You no longer can
Yeah,
come.
Vinovich. Vinovich is not having it. And I was actually super, is that his name? Vinovich? Am I getting that right? I
I
was
think so.
super excited. It was Vincent Schiavelli, who was one of those actors that when you see him, I mean, such an unmistakable face. It was cool to see him in this movie too. I'm like, I know you.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever saw him probably was Ghost.
That's what I was going to say too. Probably Ghost. He's, he really kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say he always plays kind of the same type of character, but his characters always have sort of like an edge, a chip. Um, and Ghosty was, helpful, but
Yeah,
yeah, definitely always has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Great actor.
but it seems like Vinovich has like he knows more than what he's saying, or wants to reveal, and he's trying to hide something that even amongst all the other magicians as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
he accused him of being a journalist, doesn't he?
yeah, originally he accused him of being a journalist. It's like, no, he's a private investigator, but still, like, even being a private investigator, um, doesn't want to, give out the secrets.
Right.
There's a room there, there's a repository room that houses all the secrets of every magician that has, ever come before.
That's where I'm going. This my next trip. You watch.
You go in and it's just like, it's bigger on the inside. You're like, how is this even possible?
I go in and I never come back. You lose your co-host. I'm never heard from again.
you go back through the door and it's just a maze. You're like, where'd this maze come
Yeah.
from? And you just are
Hmm.
lost in that maze forever.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, so he ends up like coming back with another magician's help. Um, they seem to get in there pretty easy for such
Yeah, they
a
do.
secure room. It's like we're going through the top. We're going through the what was it? What was that thing? It's on the top usually of roofs.
The little
Skylights. Yeah, like
skylight.
skylight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah. It's
undo the screws and
it's like that's
really
it.
flip it.
Like that's not secure at all. I was
Mhm.
expecting him to get down there like a bear trap just captured, hits him like, oh,
Yeah.
nope, nothing there. It's like, wow, you guys
Yeah.
are not even that
At
secure.
least a hall of mirrors or something.
Yeah, something magic,
Mhm.
something cool.
Yeah. But it is
Um,
booby trapped,
it's
to your point.
yeah, there is
Feels
one part of it that's booby trapped, but it's like to get in
Mhm.
is like so easy. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that was really simple. I'm
Mhm.
surprised you haven't been robbed anytime soon.
Maybe that's part of the trick is it feels like it's super easy and then you get your hand cut off.
Exactly. So basically, Harry finds a secret
Mhm.
area,
Cabinet.
a secret cabinet, and opens it up. And it, like you said, it almost snaps, their hand.
Very Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
it has like teeth and everything, and these big spikes.
Mm.
So they grab all the, you know, information out of this cabinet, and it has pictures, it has documents, it has things about Nyx and the Puritan and all the rituals that take place, and some really interesting drawings of people
Yeah.
getting the fingers placed in their temples of their head and everything. So yeah, so I at this point, Harry's starting to really believe that this thing is real, like it's like
Yeah.
something that is really, um, it's beyond just you know people dying. Something else is going
Yeah.
on. And he learns that the magic is real. It's not just an illusion. It's not just
Hmm.
smoke and mirrors. So uh, basically, we cut to Dorothea, and she basically reveals to Harry that she was the kidnapped girl from years ago,
Yeah.
and that she had stayed with Philip as sort of a thank you for saving his life. Psychologically, she probably would have been like scarred for life for the things that she
Hmm.
saw and did, and and I guess Philip was also protecting her. So it wasn't particularly like a full relationship, a marriage of love. It's more like respect.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. She definitely she tells him, in no uncertain terms that it was not, a marriage where they were in love in that sort of way, because then they hook up.
Yeah, it's like Diamore and Dorothea, like they go like
Mhm.
immediately.
Yeah,
It's like that was
yeah,
quick. You
they
just met each
waste no
other
time.
like just the other day. That was fast.
And my note says, starting to feel a lot like Clive Barker.
I mean, they had to get Bakula's shirt off somehow.
They did, and they do many, many times in this movie.
Especially the scene you have right behind you.
Heyo.
Heyo.
I never, because I think I was, so young when I was watching Quantum Leap. I was definitely not into Scott Bakula, but I gotta tell you, like, I'm like, I can see why they made him walk around shirtless in this movie. He was probably quite the hottie back in the day for the ladies. Not my vibe, but um yeah, this is where I really started to. I think this is where I started to have a difficult time keeping up with the movie, because I couldn't. Maybe they were playing illusions on me. I couldn't keep up with what was a dream and what was actually happening. So, if you could explain to me this whole thing with the casket that happens after this.
Oh yeah, it's not real. Like it's all like it so it's a fake body. It was all like set up so that um like Philip's assistant basically set this whole thing up so that Philip could disappear. And
Okay.
and
But that wasn't a dream. That was
no,
real.
that was real. That was
And he was
real. Yeah.
okay.
He wanted to
Okay.
make sure that if people came up,
Because he like tore his jaw away, and I was like, "What is happening?"
yeah, so that wasn't a real body. So that's why he was like messing
Okay.
with it, going like, is this a hollow thing? And ends up tearing it apart. And basically, we get this like flaming supernatural creature that comes after Harry. That
Yeah.
that's very 90s looking.
CGIE. CGIE. I
I
don't know that
the
that's a word, but
the budget wasn't really high on this film. It was like
mhm.
$11 million, so they had to do what they
Yeah.
had to do.
I see you.
I mean,
We were speaking the same language there.
I mean, a very like Wishmaster situation where like we need something to like unfold in like a CGI way. This is the
Hmm.
best we have at this time. Here you go. Here's a flaming creature.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And so after he's attacked. Hold on a second. I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, they have that, and then that's when that's part of why it started to become so confusing to me, was that happened, and then the whole funeral scene happens with Perry and ripping the jaw. So you find out that it's this rubber dummy, but then the funeral goes on. So I guess the part that I missed then is just that's how we're putting Swan into hiding.
Yeah, well, they
What in the world is happening?
after it's revealed that Swan actually isn't dead and that he is in hiding, they need to keep it going, the ruse going, because they're being watched. Because they're being watched by Nyx's followers and Butterfield, because as long as the funeral keeps going on, then hopefully Dorothea will be protected.
Yeah,
he's not just doing this for himself, but he's also doing this for Dorothea. And at the funeral, basically, Harry, I guess, sees a figure walking away from the cemetery and ends up following him. And
into the storm drain.
Yes, into the storm drains, and it ends up being Philip. Like he's
and he's pissed.
Yeah, he does. Well, the thing is, he doesn't want his secret to get out there. Like, even one slip up, Dorothy is in danger again.
It's a true magician.
Yeah, a true magician. And he's kind of pissed too that he slept with her as well.
That he throws a car at him, but he misses. So
yeah, which kind of like shocks him for a second, because like that is real magic. That is not just an illusion. That you make see things or anything else like that. Almost crushes Harry to death with that car.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, Harry convinces him to work with him, and defeat Nyx, because Nyx is returning. The Puritan is returning, and they're getting very close to him coming back. And so Butterfield torches. He basically kidnaps Valentin, who is the Philip's assistant, and tortures him for the location of Nyx's body, because remember at the beginning they buried him in an unmarked grave.
Yeah.
And then they end up taking Dorothea hostage again. You would think after all this time she would learn some self-defense or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, she shot him in the heart before, but not. Yeah.
I would think after like 13 years, I'd be like, maybe learn some martial arts or something to fight against somebody, just in case this happens. I bypassed some other stuff. There are other people that were part of the group that went to rescue Dorothea before, and they end up getting either killed somehow, or they've gone crazy over some of these years. Like that one woman, basically she's what was she? She was. It's not a sanitarium. Or is it close to a sanitarium?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a convent sanitarium.
Yeah, they have nuns and everything.
There's nuns everywhere, yeah.
They have horrible, security there.
Mm-hmm.
I like how, the woman tries to get away from Harry, and the nun, stops him, and it's like, she's running into traffic. You tried to stop Harry, and all of a sudden the woman runs into, a car and gets killed. And I'm like, well, I blame the nun. It's like Harry was trying to grab her, and you stopped him.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought for sure I had that part in my notes, but you're right. That was kind of a big scene.
Yeah, that was a brutal death too. Like, you're getting run over by a car, and just trapped under the tires. That's a brutal way to die. Hopefully, it was quick.
Yeah.
But she was all frightened and everything about Nyx is coming back. Nyx is coming back out of the grave, and then you see this these construction workers are working in a hole nearby, and you just see this hand come up over there. It's like, is that him? Is that? No, that's just a construction worker. But it's like they
fooled ya.
Yeah, they fooled you to make you thinking that it is Nyx coming out of the grave, and it's like, oh yeah, that he wouldn't be buried there. He would be buried in the Mojave Desert. But that was an interesting scene, though. Like, the music starts to swell and everything, and you're like, nope, that's not him.
No.
So back to the Mojave Desert, because Butterfield is now
wearing a crushed velvet orange shirt.
Yes. Yes. I don't know who's his stylist.
Clock,
Who's his
clock.
stylist?
I don't know, but honestly, this movie, I almost just want to like rewatch it for the outfit choices because they're real.
Yeah. So he has Valentin like
Dig a hole.
dig a really like a big hole. Like he doesn't have a tractor. He just has a shovel. Like he must have been there for hours digging that
Or
hole.
that's real loose dirt.
Yes. So Butterfield ends up stabbing Valentin and takes the corpse back. It like the corpse is still alive. Like Nix is still alive. He's just trapped in the mask.
Yeah.
And ends up basically taking the mask off of him very slowly. And as each piece of the mask comes off, more of his body regenerates. It kind of looks like the body's been cooked. It's all blackened and everything.
I love too when he finally gets the mask off and he's like fully revived. The first thing he does is he's like, "Where's Swan?" It's like, that's it. Where's Swan?
If I was Butterfield, I'd be pissed. I'm like, I was the loyal one. What are you doing? What do you mean? What about me? I'm the one who got you out of this.
No, hello. What? How are you?
It's just I've been thinking of Swan this whole time.
I mean, fair, right?
It's like he has a super hard on for Swan. He's just like it's been 13 years buried underground.
Yeah. Where's Swan?
So yeah, Nix's loyalists have been very, very like they've been waiting for him, for over a decade to come back.
Yeah,
they're still there, and they end up before he is resurrected, humbling themselves by shaving their hair, their heads, and basically breaking a bunch of glass and bottles in the hallway.
Yeah,
and you're wondering why are they doing that, and then we find out later, it's to humble themselves in front of the Puritan by pain.
All hail Nix.
Yes, I felt that some of the people wearing jeans kind of cheated, but
yeah,
the ones that are wearing shorts. Ouch.
They are eager for his magic, man. They are all about it.
Well, he promised them. They promised, promised to share it. Which, of course, the only person he really wanted to share it was Swan, because Swan really had the the ability to use the actual power. And of course, we find out that that Swan was, an actual, illusionist magician. Like he actually could use power. It wasn't just something that he used in shows to like, oh, look at this here. Like, nope, he actually could use real magic. That's how he also made it look like he died.
Fooled me.
At the show, yeah.
Twice.
It fooled you twice and confused you.
With that casket, too.
And then you fell asleep, and you're like, I don't know if I can finish this.
I felt like I was high. I'm like, what is happening? These notes are a trip to read.
So, yeah, he promised to share his knowledge and power to his followers. And then, he creates this, like, chasm, this hole. It almost looks like the center of the earth.
Yeah.
And then...
Which I'm going to rip on later.
Yes.
I remember that part.
And then he ends up sacrificing his followers.
Yeah. That was, like, what, quicksand? That was
well, it was more than just quicksand because they became like part of the earth. So like it started covering them and everything, and you can see that they realized maybe we chose wrong.
Right.
It's like
that's what happens. Pick your overlords wisely, people.
We fafoed. We fucked around and found out.
Yeah, they did in a big way, in a big sandy way. Yeah, so then we have the showdown between Butterfield and Swan. which doesn't end well for Butterfield,
Nope.
naturally. Just get some fire in the face. There's
Yes.
a joke there. If I was clever, Butterfield, fire face, butter. There's a joke there. I can't put it quite together, but wait for it before we're done recording, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So the scene I was trying to talk about earlier about them sort of prostrating themselves in front of Nyx, like his followers. Basically, they kneel in the glass that they just broke, which is like shredding up their knees and their legs and everything. And you can see it's super painful for them, but they're like, basically they're thinking that the pain will subside and they will be, super
Chosen
powerful
or
and
yeah.
chosen and powerful, and they'll have power and everything. This is everything they've ever wanted. And
No.
in the end, they end up just being, sucked into the earth.
Sand people.
Sand people.
Sucked sand people.
Actually, I think what another cool thing would have been is if they actually had risen up out of the sand and just been these like sand zombies. That would have been really cool. Yeah.
To fight in Nyx's Sand Army, Part
Yeah.
2.
Part two.
Call us, Clive.
um, but yeah, so after Butterfield's killed, Nyx reveals
Butterball.
yeah,
That's the
Butterball.
joke.
Butterball.
Butterball. Yeah, fire plus Butterfield equals Butterball. Something. I'll shop it.
Yeah. So Nyx reveals that he was never wanting to save the world. He was sent here to destroy it. That is his purpose. That it was he born to do. He was going to destroy it, and he wanted Philip to be by his side when he did it.
Only one Swan, man.
He only wants Swan. Yeah, I think
There's a bromance gone wrong.
he has a big crush on Swan. I think.
100%.
The actor that actually plays Nyx, Daniel von was it Borgen? He yeah, you might remember him. I don't know if you've seen
Super Troopers.
Super Troop Malcolm in the Middle. He was also Malcolm in the Middle.
I don't remember him from Malcolm in the Middle, but right when I saw him, I'm like, where do I know him from? So I had to IMDb it, and I'm like, Super Troopers, that's where it is.
But he's a recognizable face.
Mm-hmm.
And his character in here is like, he's kind of obsessed with this whole, like, I'm going to destroy the world, but I need somebody with me because I don't want to be alone. It's like, okay.
Right.
And then ends up, just saying, oh, like, okay, I guess Philip is not going to come with me, so I'll just end up trying to, destroy him. And ends up, like breaking his back and, like,
Yeah, he breaks
contorting
him with magic.
throws him against the wall.
And that's where, honestly, we were joking about, like, the bromance, but I feel like Nyx did that when he saw that Swan still cared for Dorothea.
Yeah.
He was like, no, like, you really like him.
Yeah, there's a scene basically where with Dorothea and Harry are going back and forth throughout the halls. It's like they're going back to the room, away from the room, down the hall, back there, back and forth, back and forth. They're running into this, like, I guess they didn't have a large set.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
like we have a few rooms to play with. Let's see what we can do with all of them. But we already went down this hall. You're just going back. We have to keep rolling.
Yeah. This whole set is definitely where they ran out of money, for sure.
So yeah, basically, we get this. What was it? The scene with Harry and Nyx. Listen, he puts his fingers to his head too.
Yeah.
And
mind fingered.
Yes, and now he's starting to see the visions and everything of Dorothea. Her face like starts to fade away and her skin tears off and everything.
Yeah, skin falling apart. It's pretty cool.
Yes. And Philip, he's basically dying at this point, but he uses the last of his energy to, deliver the final blow on Nyx.
Mhm.
and then dies. So basically, he gives all his energy away, and um, Nyx ends up falling into that giant chasm of a hole, and it looks like almost all the way to the center of the earth, and ends up falling into molten lava. But he's not dead.
Yeah.
Not completely yet. Not yet.
Can we talk about the hole?
Yes.
Did you see what I saw? Because if you didn't, you must rewatch. When Nyx falls into the hole, you full on see the blanket of the hole move. It's like I was like, oh man, we couldn't have like found some way to edit that out. That's where I was, really picking on the scene of I must have made everybody that was in my house. I'm like, come here, check this out. Would have loved to have seen that on the big screen. Yeah. Yeah. Nyx falls into the hole, but he rises up.
Yes, and then you just see this big, flame bursting through uh, at full speed and basically disintegrates anything that was in that room, including
Hmm.
Philip's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Swan.
I mean, luckily he was already dead. So,
Hmm.
and then Harry and Dorothea end up escaping the house, and they walk out. Hopefully, there's a vehicle nearby that they left,
Yeah. Hmm. In the
and
desert.
it's because that's a long way back home if you're just gonna walk in the Mojave Desert.
Hmm.
And that's the end of the movie. So basically,
Yeah.
Nyx is gone. Swan is gone, and hopefully the demon that Nyx had become is gone too. I do like the design of the demon too. It had sort of like a little hole in the head and everything, and
Yeah, yeah. We Dorothea shoots him in the hole that's already in his head. She is good with the gun.
yeah, she's good with a gun. She just
Yeah,
needs hand-to-hand combat.
yeah, she does. Yeah,
Yeah, she has been
and maybe
practicing.
yeah, maybe stop hanging out with those magicians. It's just the wrong crowd. Go
maybe
into hiding.
maybe she's like a groupie now. Like,
That
yeah,
could be, but a higher level than like kneeling on broken glass kind of groupie. Like she's a level above.
exactly.
She's a band-aid.
Now, this movie was not, like I said earlier, it wasn't built on a really high budget. It was $11 million. The box office had barely made anything back. It made $13.3 million back in the
Oh,
box
woof.
office. Yeah, it was Wolf is right. The production company was United Artists. That doesn't exist anymore. And
Sad.
produced by Clive Barker and John Seller. This film, it's a classic for a lot of fans of Clive Barker, uh,
Hmm.
because of the whole neo noir type of like mystery and cultism and uh, of course demons. You have to have demons when you have Clive Barker.
Hmm. That's true.
And
Yeah.
it was a little different than your typical like leather clad Clive Barker creature and everything.
Right. No, we
Because
traded in for Butterfield.
yeah, I mean, it was like a murder mystery turned into a demonic cult. Discovering a demonic cult.
Yeah. What I will 100% give this movie and Clive Barker is his movies aren't they're they're usually things that haven't been done. And they're singular in their narrative, and that I mean you have to he is one of the greats, no doubt about it. It was cool watching this movie because that why hasn't that premise been done more often, right? You would think, what is more apt for a horror storyline than magic and an illusionist? And when you see magicians today, we were joking about David Blaine and Chris Angel, Mind Freak. I mean, it is perfect for a great horror movie storyline, but you don't see it that often, if
Or,
ever.
or
So
we can maybe get like a remake. I mean, it's
yeah.
been long enough. It's not like it was like, oh, it was like 10 years ago, and we're gonna remake it
Hmm.
now. It's like we've had some time to simmer on it. It's been what?
Yeah, 95.
Five,
That's 30
10, yeah,
years.
30. Oof.
31.
Eesh.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, did I do that right?
Don't.
Did I do that math right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
about
did
30
that math
years.
right. Yeah, dang it.
Ouch.
And I was not in my first year of high school. I was in my last year of elementary school. I wish that was true.
That just
Um,
hurts.
it does. Yeah. It feels like yesterday. 95 was a good year. Um, yeah, this could definitely be a remake. Jordan, come on, you did Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. Can you redo this? That would be fantastic.
Or have somebody like maybe Guillermo del Toro or something like,
Yeah.
yeah, play with it.
He could create a world that would be really perfect and beautiful for like that noir, the deep colors of the movies that he makes, the shadows, that would be a really cool. Actually, yeah, sorry, Jordan, I vote for Guillermo on this one.
Yeah, and especially for like characters and everything, and sort of like a mystery. I'd like to throw back to what was it, Shape of Water. Like that wasn't really a horror film or anything. It's more of like a fantasy kind of like mystery type of film.
Right, right.
Um,
Or even the one that he did, and the name is escaping me right now, but where it starts out with the circus sideshow, um, with is it Kate Blanchett in that? It's in that movie. There is this sort of world within worlds of the people, the real people that are the family, living that sideshow life. And I feel in a way it's very similar to, this sort of separate world of magicians and illusionists. Good call. Good call, J Pool.
well, I
Def-
throw back to Frankenstein, so I'm like,
yeah.
this would be an interesting movie to to see how he would envision Clive
Hmm.
Barker's vision of, maybe even have Clive Barker produce it, something like that,
Hmm.
and do a remake of this film, because I think they could really expand on this and even make it better than what they had in '95.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
definitely.
The
Maybe
fit
better than
alone.
a crop top and short shorts.
Please don't undo that. Please keep that.
I don't know if you've seen the photo of the boom guy in Star Wars, like the New Hope. So basically, they were out in the desert. Of course, it's really hot, and the guy holding the boom mic, almost in a lot of the scenes, including one of the scenes where Luke and Obi-Wan are showing up to Mos Eisley. Um, the boom guy is wearing nothing really but like tennis shoes and pink short shorts.
Nice. That's
and
perfect.
and it's because it's so hot out there.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta
You
do.
gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, this film is it's really interesting because uh, it's not, like I said, it's not like your typical Clive Barker film.
Mm.
That when you think of Clive Barker, Lord of Illusions doesn't always come up. Maybe for the fans, but for regular average viewers, they think more of Hellraiser.
Hellraiser
Yeah,
and Nightbreed. Nightbreed?
Nightbreed.
Yeah.
I think so. And what was it? Candyman.
Of course, Candyman. Yeah. Candyman, Candyman.
So when you have sort of this like noir, like mystery or supernatural horror film,
Hmm.
that doesn't really completely scream Clive Barker. You could see elements of Clive Barker throughout this film, even
Yeah.
in the design of the of Nyx when he becomes in his demonic form.
Hmm.
Um, and also people suffering as well. It's like, there's the suffering.
He does love that. Yeah. He loves pain and sex. I'm sure Clive Barker's personal life is really interesting, actually. Does he have a biography? I might read it.
So, before we go on, what are your final thoughts on this film and then your rating?
I, okay. Let's do pros and cons here. Pros. Fantastic idea for a horror movie, honestly. Like, again, why hasn't this been done more? Yeah, I mean, what a perfect theme and sort of, subgenre that really hasn't been overmade, shockingly. Um, Good casting, really good casting in this movie. Um, I usually have a problem with Clive Barker's pacing, so that didn't shock me going into this movie that you called me out that I I had to rewatch it after I fell asleep. There's a lot of, sort of deep subplot lines that, sometimes for me, they're never unnecessary, but for me, I feel like it's like, okay, we're going a lot deeper than maybe I want to. Um, a lot of the to your point, a lot of the ideas for the effects or the scenes were really cool, but if only we had a bigger budget and today's technology, because you had to rely on a lot of CGI for what was shown in this. There wasn't a great opportunity for practical effects in some of the magic, illusionist stuff that was happening, which would be cool to see redone. I did think it was still pretty cool. Like we called the temple thing, we called that out. Still looked pretty good for the time. Um, Overall, I would probably rate this. This is where I feel like I'm going to get hate mail. I would go with a 5. Strongly led by the idea for the movie. Um, Yeah, but ultimately, I couldn't go higher. I want to give it a 6 just so people don't yell at me, but I can't because I feel like oftentimes for me, again, personal opinion, but I feel like Clive Barker's movies, there's a lot to them and they're all over the place. And again, I'll call myself out. Maybe I'm just too simple or stupid for Clive Barker movies, but it like the Magic Castle part was cool, but it slowed down the pacing so much for me. How long was this film? What was the watch time on it or the runtime?
109 minutes.
That wasn't as long as it felt. So that's a Lindsay Clive Barker problem. But yeah, I'll go with a 5. I definitely feel like even if you're like me and you're a little bit of a pain in the ass when it comes to Clive Barker movies, watch it because there really isn't a lot of I mean magic, but that's totally different from this movie. So there's it's a fresh take on something that surprisingly hasn't been done before. You would think that this a similar storyline would have been done at least 4 different times in well-noted movies. And maybe I just missed them, but I haven't seen a lot. So 5, going with a 5. Talked a lot to get to a 5. I
Cool.
felt like I was making a lot of excuses to get to a 5.
Cool. All right, a 5 it is for you. For me, this film, even though it was originally released, it was not well received. Even by critics,
Okay.
it wasn't a well received film. Um, this, like I said before, it only made $13.3 million at the box office. That's not a lot when your budget was $11 million. Because
Wasn't in the red.
no, well,
Still made money.
it probably was when it came to advertising.
Oh.
Advertising can range anywhere from sometimes around that time, maybe anywhere from $1 to $3 million, maybe more, depending on like the size of the film.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, so they might have been in the red. But it's become a cult classic ever since, and definitely a film that a lot of people need to check out if they haven't seen the Clive Barker classic, Lord of Illusions. They've probably heard about it and have never seen it, or their friends talk about it and they're like, "What is that about?"
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of those films that if you're a big Scott Bakula fan, then you're like, I know that guy.
Heyo.
I know that guy. Uh,
You'll appreciate him in a whole different way.
exactly. I mean, he had his shirt off a handful of times in Quantum Leap, and even when he was a woman,
Yeah. I mean, he
multiple
was such a.
times, multiple
I
times.
tell me if I'm wrong, because you have the seasons. In Quantum Leap, he was kind of like the nice guy. Like, I don't know. I don't think that, again, I was a lot younger back then, but I don't think that I would have ever been like, oh, yeah, he's the hot guy. He was, I mean, he's a good looking guy, but he was like the nice guy, like the sweet guy.
Yeah, and here he's sort of the paranoid guy at the beginning.
Hmm.
So I really like what Clive Barker was trying to do with this film. He was trying to give us something a little different, including the whole like supernatural neo noir, mystery in here, and like you said, there's some interesting and funny parts in here, especially with like Butterfield as sort of this.
Hmm.
Um, this interesting character that just keeps showing up. You're like,
A
is he ever
henchman.
henchman? Like, is he ever gonna die? Like, he
Yeah.
just. But and like I said, at the end, if I was Butterfield, I'd be so pissed that
Yeah.
like the first words out of my master's mouth would be like somebody else.
Where's SWAT?
Where's Swan? It's like what? I just got the
Justice
mask.
for Butterfield.
I just dug you out of the grave. I got the mask off of you, and you're like, I kind of feel betrayed here. I've been loyal to you.
Justice for Butterfield.
Yeah, he got flamed in the face.
Mm.
The special effects here are not really anything to write home about. There was a limitation on what they could do. The fingers to the head is a fun little thing in here. The demon makeup was pretty cool. Um, don't have like a bullseye that's like almost on your forehead, because that's kind of a dead giveaway
Right.
where to go
Mm.
to try to take you out. Um, but yeah, I thought that that part especially they did pretty good with the monster makeup when it
Yeah,
came
I
to
agree.
yeah. They didn't have a lot of it in here. Like I said, a lot of it is basically just like trying to find out what is who the Puritan is, what the magic, if it's real or not. There's a lot of just like investigation in this film,
Hmm.
which for some horror fans could make them lull a little bit,
Hmm.
or lull to sleep, because they don't know what's they're expecting monsters and creatures and blood everywhere,
It's
all
what
this
we
type of
want.
stuff. Yeah, that's what they want.
It's what we want.
We don't want to walk through a whole mystery. It's not for everybody. It's very niche for some people. But I think that's what Clive Barker was going for. He's trying to go for more of like a mystery type of like film, something different than what he's done before. And I can respect it for that. You're expected to do certain things as when you're like a director like that. Like with James Cameron, you're expected to make a movie with water. At least
Right.
one film, every other film with something that to do with water. Speaking of special effects, like that, even though we were saying that at the time in like '95, special effects was they didn't have really good CGI and everything. Like
That was Titanic year.
no, what was it? The Abyss was years before that, and
No,
that
that's
and the
true.
water
Hmm.
tentacle and everything, that was
Hmm.
done early before that you could just basically input it into your computer and then press enter and you could do it. They had to work on that. So it all has to do with like budget and also the special effects people that are working on it. Like
Yeah.
before James Cameron was even a director, he was a special effects person. So he kind of created that type of technology, the whole T1000 turning into liquid, you know,
Yeah.
um, the tentacle and the abyss and everything. So anytime we say something in the 90s, we're going like, well, they had limitations because of the time. Well, it's more of they had limitations on budget and the people that are working
Maybe
on
who they
it.
used. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give no excuses for that pit scene. rewound that bad boy 3 or 4 different times. So I'm like, you can see the blade. Like it is, and that's the finale. Come on. I know Clive had to have seen that. Did he just like, we don't have any more money. Just go with it.
Just erase around it. Just make it look more
Mm-hmm.
realistic.
Fuzzy it. Make it
Yes.
fuzzy.
Blur it out just a
Airbrush.
little bit so that we don't see the edges.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I think I understood where Clive was going with this film. It wasn't a great film, so I'm not going to give it a high rating. I am going to probably give it about a 6 because it is a memorable and classic Clive Barker film, but nothing above a 6. So if you're gonna come after me and anybody goes like, no, that's a classic, let's give it a higher rating, I'm like,
They'll come after me first.
probably because you gave it a 5.
I wanted to go lower.
It's not like I'm just going along with at the time of critics. Critics gave it about like I think what was it, a Metacritic score of like 54%. So
Okay.
we're close to that range of as critics ourselves. Looking at the film on the outside and seeing like where they could have made the story better, where they could have made the special effects better, and whether there could be things that are being trimmed. Like we were saying,
Yeah.
there's a lot of even though this is only 109 minutes, some areas didn't
It
flow
felt a
well.
lot longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't flow very well with the film. They kind of got to a point in some areas of the film where we were like, oh wow, that didn't do, that pacing was horrible. They could have done better with the pacing of this film. So
I feel like that's a telltale of a Clive Barker movie is honestly, I wonder what would happen if Clive Barker made, gosh, like watch there is one and I just don't know about it, but like make like a full on like 3 hour movie and pour your heart into it because that's his movies. They are so much more, they're never just horror. There's so much more to it. They're very complex movies, and I love a good complex movie, but I like the complex telling more in the visuals, I think. And he really has very deep storylines. So yeah, I mean, it's a mystery as much as it maybe even more than a horror movie.
exactly. So yeah, that's my rating. I gave it a 6. You gave it a 5. Um, you can actually watch this right now, actually on YouTube, if you have
Oh, hey,
YouTube. Um,
mm,
it's no commercials with YouTube Premium.
I rented it on no. You can also go on Prime and get an MGM 7 day free subscription that I have to cancel.
Oh no.
You can also do that. I've got 2 more days. We'll see what else is on there.
Exactly. Well, I actually have it on DVD, but since it was on YouTube, I was like,
Hmm.
instead of popping in the DVD, I might as well watch it. Surprisingly, I was expecting them to censor the nudity in the beginning of the movie with
Hmm.
and
The
I'm like,
perp,
nope, they didn't censor it on YouTube. Okay.
the pervy perp. Yeah, that was. I still, if this would have been a 3 hour movie, we would have learned more about what was going on with that guy
Yeah, he
and
just
those two girls.
he just disappears. I'm like,
Yeah.
after he sees a body in the other room, he
Mm.
just
He out.
jets out of there, and it's like he's never heard from again.
Yep. It's
Also,
all an illusion.
the whole exorcism storyline, of Diamore's
Hmm.
character, we never hear about it ever again.
I would actually love to know, and I'm sure I can find this on some forum, but I would love to know how long is a Clive Barker movie before the edits? Because to that point, I wonder, was that a MacGuffin? Is there so much more that goes into that he has to wind up cutting just to, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, well, we find out, we have found out with a lot of movies that studios like to step in and overstep their boundaries because they check in with test audiences and everything, and they're like, well, we need you to cut this, we need you to cut this, and there's sometimes hours and hours that are cut out of a film that are on the cutting room floor that you'll never see, even in deleted scenes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll change the whole movie.
I tried to Google it real quick, and it says Clive Barker's Nightbreed was originally over 2.5 hours, long before the studio demands cut it back to 102 for the theatrical release. So yeah, to your point, studio demands a certain runtime, and
Yeah, I would have
yeah,
loved to, like, near the end of the film, like there would be a flashback for Harry about that incident with the exorcism that gives him a little more strength to keep going or something like that. Especially when
yeah,
he gets those visions in his head after Nix puts his fingers through his head. And I was like, that would have been really cool because it would have been a
yeah.
throwback to his one of his earlier cases that have haunted him ever since, and they never come back to that. And I wonder if that
No.
was something like on the cutting room floor that I mean, he wouldn't have given him that storyline if it wasn't going to, be anything. I don't think I.
Well, it said Nightbreed when it was restored. It was over 3 hours. It was like basically 3.5 hours long. I just tried to see if Lord of Illusions has a similar story, but it doesn't. There's no. But I'm sure it was. That makes so much sense now. If anybody knows Clive, call us and let us know if that's the reason that the movies are um, a little interesting with the pacing. Because I bet you that's it. We're on to something. We are on to something. Mystery solved, much like Lord of Illusions.
Definitely, most definitely. All right, so that is our discussion and review of the 1995 Clive Barker's film Lord of Illusions. Check out the film, and also check out my socials at Gnerd Corner, and check out my co-host's
Socials
socials
at
at. You can do it.
LD, LC, LDCD.
Yeah, I'll just mess it up.
Yeah, same.
don't
LC,
don't mess yeah,
LDCD.
don't mess up your own socials. That would not be good.
I mean, today it might be. It might be for my own personal benefit to escape the Clive Barker fans.
Exactly, exactly. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, everyone. And remember to enjoy your chimichanga.